guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and WoW's next update, the WoW's 20th anniversary patch 11.05, is bringing with it a lot of new changes, from a ton of different festivities for players to dive into, to new world events and even new content, to a ton of different and quality class changes that are arriving that we've been really going over the details over the last few days. But there's also going to be a bunch of quality of life catch-ups, like an experience bonus that allows you to catch up fresh new characters or your very first character to level 80 rather quickly, with a bunch of EXP and even reputation bonuses. Or maybe you find yourself a little bit behind on gear on your main character, or maybe a couple of vaults, and are not quite sure exactly how to get a character up and running until you can jump into delves, jump into dungeons, and into raids as quickly as possible. And the 20th anniversary opens so many different opportunities for you to be able to catch up on gear, to be able to jump into that end game content and progression. And for today's video, I really wanted to go over all of the different catch-ups that are going to be arriving with the 20th anniversary, which we don't have a release date for just yet, but from what we've been able to data mine so far, it should be coming out sooner than we think. As always, if you want to see more regular War Within future updates like these on the channel, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. Otherwise, let's dive right in. So first things first, if you're somebody who's just coming back to the game in preparation for the 20th anniversary or are planning to make a return during the 20th anniversary, the first thing you'll need to do as a returning player is to catch back up on a couple of levels. You'll first need to hit level 80 in order to be able to jump into some of the endgame content such as delves, raids, dungeons, or PvP, or even if you just want to see the full story of War Within for the Season 1. Also, with the expansion being a lot more alt-friendly with the warbound systems, there's a good chance you'll want to level a bunch of alts, any classes you're interested in playing, or maybe you'll just want to hit level 80, unlock the Earthern, and then try to get their heritage set in order to complete your collection as soon as possible. And during the 20th anniversary, we'll have a bunch of leveling and catch-up bonuses. Every anniversary comes with its own leveling buff, usually giving you enough XP related to the number of the anniversary. So like during the 16th anniversary, we got 16% more XP. During the 19th anniversary, we get 19% more XP. But the 20th anniversary is doing things a little bit different. Passively, every character is going to have a 10% buff towards experience and reputation gains, which allows you to not only get characters to max level, but for max level characters to get through the reps and renown much quicker. Though as you complete more events as part of the anniversary update, mostly around the Caverns of Time, with a bunch of different runs from story time, transport competition, a mount-off competition, and a variety of other activities, you can also complete another quest within that zone called Celebrating the Good Fun, which awards you with the blessing of the bronze Dragonflight, which adds 10% more experience gains on top of it for 12 hours. And this is a repeatable quest, so you'll want to keep coming back to this area in order to complete that quest again and again to gain this buff, which offers you 10% on top of the original 10%, which is like 25% bonus experience gains. Now, all of these bonuses usually stack up with all of the other existing experience bonuses, such as the Warband mentoring bonuses. So if you have a bunch of characters on level 80 but want to level more characters, you should be looking at potentially up to 25% additional experience gains just for having a couple of max level characters. This would stack up normally with the anniversary buff plus the bronze Dragonflight bonus. So you're looking at about, if all of them are additive, 55% more experience gains while leveling a brand new character, which is going to make that leveling journey even quicker. And during the 20th anniversary event, we'll also have access to a lot of the time walking dungeons, particularly the classic version of all of these dungeons. And classic dungeon leveling, just spamming through classic dungeons, you can start doing starting at level 10 for the classic time walking specifically. Not only are time walking dungeons great for gearing a character as you level through dungeons, but they also offer more experience per dungeon. Like just queuing for a random cataclysmic dungeon or level 44 character, 36,000 experience, not that bad. It's actually a decent bit of XP, basically a level per dungeon. But with time walking dungeons, you almost are seeing almost double of that, so you're getting far more experience per dungeon. And because of the scaling that works in time walking dungeons, you usually get to complete them faster than any other instance, which overall means a very incredibly fast and rapid leveling for anybody coming back during the 20th anniversary event. Now, another massive update of the 20th anniversary is the fact that not only they're throwing a bunch of XP your way, but they're also throwing a bunch of gear at you from every angle. As there's going to be so many different events during the 20th anniversary that allows you to catch up with items and gear much faster than normal. During the 20th anniversary new grounds that they have here with a bunch of different activities and festivities, they added a ton of new vendors to these locations. A lot of these vendors have cosmetic things or little things like collectibles, toys, and maybe even fun festivity items like titles and foods and little things you could use like a pet mirror where you can mimic the look of your pets and stuff. Just fun little things here and there, but a lot of the vendors don't really have impactful items, but generally useful items or stuff you'll want to collect at some point. Though if you are trying to boost the gear, they do have a core extra revenge of vendors here, one for Alliance and one for Horde, that if you're just here to get a bunch of gear and you want to get the easiest gear, 541 items could be easily bought with just a little bit of time warp badges and a singular mark of honor. And a lot of these items just offer you an assortment of different pieces. Most of them are thematic from the original Ultrek Valley, now known as the Corex Revenge, which is the event that's returned for the 20th anniversary as well. Though they do have a few items here like the Cold Forged Blade, as well as the Cold Forged Hammer and the Ice Barbed Spear, which are logged behind you having to do the quest for the Legend of the Korak, which is a quest where you have to earn 500 honor in Corex Revenge, which you'll be able to queue for during the 20th anniversary. If you do complete the quest, you also get to unlock a cache of Dark Iron treasures, or otherwise known as normal gear equivalents, or at least normal equivalents to the Neurobar Palace gear. Like Neurobar Palace drops you champion track gear, this quest for the Corex Revenge can also drop you champion track gear as well. So if anything, it's at least kind of competitive in that front in terms of gear and upgrades. Another event that's going to be available during the 20th anniversary event is the Chromies Codex, which is actually something you'll be able to queue for from the dungeon screen. Now, I've been trying to queue for this event for a good couple of hours now, and I haven't been able to get a queue to pop at all this entire time on PTR. But during the event, it's meant to be kind of like a tour for the opening of the Encourage gates, but with it being a Bronze Dragonflight themed event, things are going to be very timey-wimey, and something is always going to go wrong, which is where we come in to clean up the mess that has been made by the Bronze Dragonflight. For completing the event, you will be awarded with Chromies Premium Goodie Bag, which awards you gold, Valor Stones, and a chance for crests, as well as a Warbound until equipped items of 5721 gear quality, which is again not amazing, but maybe something your alts might utilize with it being Warbound until equipped. You also do have a quest for the Chromie event as well, which awards you also even more champion track Dark Iron treasure gear. And as you look at the map, you actually might notice there's a couple of different icons that are moving around. So from there on, we can now move on to some of the different world bosses. Every anniversary event, all of the old world bosses from previous expansions start to spawn out in the open world. We have 3 Ingenieres from the Doomwalker to some of the new additions such as the Shah of Anger from Pandaria and Archivon the Stonewatcher from, I believe, Wrath of the Lich King. But we also have some of the originals such as Azuragos, which can be found in Azara. We have Lord Kazakh, which spawns in Blasted Lands, as well as one of the 4 Dragons of Nightmare, which can spawn in one of the 4 different gates to the Emerald Dream. There's one in Duskwood. I believe there's also one a little bit higher, I think in the Hinterlands. And there's a couple of other locations that I can't remember off the top of my head. I think there's also one in Feralas, pretty sure as well, and one more that I'm missing. I'm not exactly sure where, but they do show up on the map whenever they are available, and you can easily find them. This is much easier than in previous expansions where you literally had to go and find them specifically. But all of these world bosses drop decent bit of gear. Each boss has a chance to drop items. Some of them are going to be good catch-up gear, but a lot of them are collectibles with unique transbugs and appearances. Most of these bosses, at least in previous events, would drop veteran track gear, which isn't amazing, but it's decent bit of catch-ups for any of your old characters. Though some of these bosses can drop very unique and rare items, such as Kazakh, who dropped the Blaze Fury Medallion. This medallion doesn't look like anything amazing, but when scaled to max level characters, the stats in this item do get a little better, but his bonus effect of additional fire damage in your auto attacks is the key thing that a lot of players were looking for, as this item, even on veteran track, with the fire effect damage auto attack effect, was enough to be equivalent to some of the best raiding gear from, at the time, Dragonflight's Emergency Raid. Or at least in certain specs, it'll be exactly the same power level as the mythic track necklaces from that raid instance. So that's an opportunity for you to not completely replace your best in slot items, but an alternative way for you to be able to get some of the better slot gear for your characters. And every single one of these bosses, or at least some of them, have unique items like these that are worth looking for. Now in the past, all of these world bosses during the anniversary event were on a daily lockout, so you keep farming them every single day, and there's a pretty good chance you were going to get through an assortment of all of their items fairly easily on all of your characters. You also do have a repeatable quest for killing the originals, with a cache of dark iron treasures also awarding even more champion track gear and items. And lastly, we have the final big event that's going to be available as part of the 20th anniversary, a brand new raid during this event of the Black Rock Depths. Now, Black Rock Depths was initially a dungeon, but they're bringing it back as a raid instance for this event, specifically as a first-time walking raid with 3 different difficulties, where you'll be able to re-experience bosses like Lord Rakor all the way down to Emperor Dagran Thorison. However, they'll have a couple of new animations and a couple of new effects, such as he's literally going to summon Ragnaros into the encounter, so these encounters have all been updated quite a bit. So there's a bit of familiarity, but also there's going to be quite a few differences, quite a few noticeable differences with these encounters. And like I said, this raid is going to come in 3 difficulties, from the LFR, normal, as well as heroic, and the gear that upgrades from these items also scales with that difficulty as well, so you can potentially earn hero track items from this raid. And there's a lot of potentially powerful items such as trinkets, as well as a few items that have a unique effect on those pieces, such as items that can actually deal additional damage without any secondary stats, or items with a set bonuses depending on the weapons that you wield. And all of those items could potentially be quite powerful going forward. It's hard to tell exactly if these pieces of gear are going to be better than the stuff we can find in the Urber Palace or any of the items you can get from Season 1 currently, but if anything, they should be fairly close, if not fairly competitive, especially since they all can drop on that hero track quality, which allows it to be upgraded to basically into the entry mythic track item levels, which should hopefully make them a little bit more effective. Hopefully it'll be tuned so it's very puggable, very easy for you to be able to get a group together and just run through it fairly easily and collect all of this catch-up gear in order to be able to use it as part of this Season 1 content and progression. There also is a quest for completing the raid itself, so not only is the raid full of gear, but also for completing it, you do get a repeatable quest where you can get a cache of dark iron treasures, which again offers you champion track gear. So even more gear that you can earn on top of the gear that you're farming from every one of these bosses. So I think it's safe to say that the 20th anniversary offers you probably the most amount of gear catch-ups that I've seen in quite a while. And this expansion is already pretty good on gear catch-ups, especially when it comes to gearing ults with the warbound gear. I mean, the amount of tier items that I've gotten for my ults to be able to equip while I'm raiding on my main character has been ludicrous. But this 20th anniversary event, I think, is going to turn all that gear and catch-up up to an 11. So if you haven't been playing War Within so far, but we're planning on at least visiting and getting all the rewards and goodies during the 20th anniversary, this might be a pretty fantastic time for you to catch up, level up a character, and get all the gear as easy as it can be. Because the hardest part about missing out on a new expansion is the feeling of falling behind, but the 20th anniversary gives you so many avenues for gear, and all of them are very straightforward and easy to get into, that gives you a perfect opportunity to just jump in, get geared, and start doing endgame content immediately, whether you're looking to get into some solo challenge activities such as delving, or group activities such as Mythic Plus or raiding. But with that being said, 20th anniversary is going to be a fantastic time to catch up, whether you want to level a brand new character or catch up on the previous expansion's rewards, because you'll be able to do so with this 20th anniversary as well by buying all these items with Time War badges or other currencies. Or if you simply just want to get more ults and characters ready to jump into endgame content, this will be the perfect time to do so. As of right now, we don't really have a release date for 20th anniversary, but it is rumored to be around end of October or so, or maybe even earlier. But it looks like the patch is mostly ready, all of the content mostly functions, so it could be arriving sooner than we think. But with that being said, I do want to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope all of you did enjoy this update. If you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give it a like. I would very much appreciate it. Join our Discord community to discuss all of these upcoming updates with the rest of the community. Also, leave me your thoughts in the comments down below for this video, and I'll see all of you guys in the next one.